All right, so I guess we'll start now. Um, this is Signal Seeker. We're live. We haven't come up with a new intro, so that's what it is right now. Um, Tonight we are looking at, talking about the Dyatlov Pass incident and the lead masks case. Lead masks case. So I guess we'll just dive in. These are two sort of mysterious happenings where people were found dead and they couldn't readily explain it. Neither has been completely explained, although Dyatlov passed probably a little closer to an explanation. But let's start with that. So in Dyatlov Pass, it was 19. Look at me, I can't even remember.
1959.
55?
59.
59, yeah, because I got the 2 days confused. It was 1959 in the Ural Mountains in Russia. 9 hikers, experienced outdoors people who knew what they were doing, um, set out on a very long hike. And this was a planned trip, and I mean planned as in they like ran it by the local authorities because it was communist Russia, so you had to do those sorts of things. And it was interesting because I was reading through some of their diary entries, and they talk about going to these little towns on their way there. You know, the towns are getting smaller and smaller. It's getting more remote. They're still traveling by vehicle, bus, whatever to get there, and you know, Russians sing, especially then. You know, it's one of the things that they're known for, right? Like they sing, right? Apparently, you were not supposed to sing. There were songs you couldn't sing, counter-revolutionary songs, and you also just couldn't sing in some places if the authorities decided you were disturbing the peace. Like, no singing here. That part was just interesting. I found because it was kind of a window into a different world entirely. Um, anyway, they traveled to a remote area of the Urals, and we'll get into the exact locations or the estimated locations later. Um, and they set out. Most of their journey was on cross country skis. Um, they Why don't we just jump to the maps? 1 second. Share screen.
The map
Dun,
guy.
dun, dun. Here are the maps. Okay, so Dyatlov Pass. Let's zoom in. Here's Russia. Arctic Circle's right up here. So this is mountains and cold, snow and all that stuff. What is this? Wants to enter, so you can use it on top of what? Okay, sure. Um, so anyway, this is where they traveled to start this general area. Now, I tried to pin it down as good as I could, but it was, even at that time, it was an abandoned logging camp. So it was kind of hard to find the exact location, but it's in this general area. I got one here, I had one here, so it's got to be in here. Um, is my audio all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. All right. So this is the route they took. Sort of. Again, they basically followed the river. I got to murder it. Lovna or Lozna. Uh, Generally north and east, and they, for a lot of this, or at least a lot of this river over here. We'll get to that in a second. So they traveled north here. They were going to take this river in, which they did. They followed this river up into the mountains. They overshot here, and they went back to the mouth. But anyway, it's kind of immaterial. This river here, the Auspia. Again, I'm almost definitely murdering that.
This is locked
Auspia
on.
River. Um, a lot of it was covered in ice at the time. They actually hiked on the river on sections of it where it was ice. But they either went on the river or these trails. Now the trails that were there, they called them Mansi trails because the Mansi were people that were in this general mountainous region, very large region here. Um, kind of living off the land, not hunter gatherers. You know what I mean. I don't want to say indigenous because I don't know if that applies here, but kind of like the Sami people over in the Netherlands and whatnot, or Norway or whatever it is. I'm doing this terribly, but anyway, so they take these little trails and like game trails and stuff. So they're not established routes, I guess is what I'm trying to get to. The local Mansi hunters would know them and they use them, but these very difficult terrain. They're skiing down the river, cross country skiing, or up the river rather. It's kind of a gentle incline. Now you can see that's elevation profile is huge right there, and I can jump to any section and it'll show me. But if we go here, yeah, I mean they're just going up, 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 right, on skis, which to me is impressive. I'm sure it's, you know, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a cross country skier. Just see that seems impressive to me. And they follow the Ospia all the way in. Ospia, yeah, I know. And this is kind of where they begin, or I should go back a little bit. The first night they stay after they leave the logging camp is here, right? They overshot the river mouth here, the Ospia river mouth, and they went back and they stayed here. This was their first night in a tent. Um, and I believe it was one tent for all 9 people. It was a large tent.
Yeah.
That's how they did it back in the day. Yeah, I used to have one of those really big canvas tents back in the day. Anyway, but and this is the second place they stayed, January 30th. Generally speaking, as far as the diary entries went, they were in pretty good spirits all the way to basically here. The weather started to get a lot worse here. Now, again, they're still going up. Um, you can see the elevation profile in a second. Yeah, I mean, it just up, 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 right? This is where they begin the major sort of ascent going up this mountain here. I couldn't find like the name of the mountain. It had a number, Mountain 1079, which you know, that's kind of useless. But um, this these sites here, this January 31st, this is the last night they spent before kind of everything went very wrong. Um, they went up supposedly this first ascent here and then didn't sort of make it where they wanted to go, so they went back and then they went here. Okay, so these 3 locations are the 3 tent locations that I found. Now, the first thing you'll notice if you look at this case, the tent location is disputed. The first location they gave, it was completely wrong, and it was basically because the investigators who gave it, wrote it down. They didn't use coordinates, and they thought they were at the mouth of the Auspia, which they were not. They were way over here, which I found odd right away because I'm like, that seems like kind of a far distance to mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seemed a little weird to me. Um, yeah, and it was hard to pin down exactly where this tent was supposed to be. Um, but anyway, this is on the side of a mountain. They literally had to cut into the snow in any of these locations. They had to cut into the snow to create an embankment to pitch the tent. Now that's how you do it when you're going up a mountain that's covered in snow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting to a point here. I'll get there eventually. But I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I've camped quite a bit. I usually try to stay where there's trees.
Yeah.
Obviously, mountain climbers are doing kind of. They're not mountain climbers; they're hikers, but they're doing kind of a different thing, right? Yeah, I mean, they're. This is the way it was done. You dig into the embankment and pitch the tent. But the wind and everything. That's just an insane way to sleep. I guess sort of attached to the side of a mountain in a snowbank. Um, no trees to protect or anything like that. But anyway, so eventually the first 4 bodies were found, or 5 bodies were found some days later when they didn't make it, right? So they sent people out to look for them because it was a planned trip. It was The whole local government knew about it. Like it was a whole thing. A couple of them were geologists, so they're kind of like science hikers, I guess, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the first five were found. Um, and the strange part about everything is all of them were found down here. All of them were found dead here. Okay. Now, one of the things that was clear in the report, and again, it sounds strange right away, but if you think about it, the tent was found sliced up as if it was cut from the inside, large slices from the inside. Now, there's a couple of different ways you could tell that. At first, I was like, how would they know, right? But if it has a fly on the outside, then you would see a smaller cut on the outside than you would on the inside. And also, I think it was canvas, so like that's gonna cause the two sides to go out when it gets cut like that. So whatever it was, they wanted to get out of the tents.
Yeah.
And
they left stuff behind.
Didn't look like anybody came along.
Right.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They left felt boots, coats, the whole nine. So yeah, sorry, I've been going for a second here. So they were found down here. Now the first, it's hard to know where to start with it, right? Basically, these people here. I think it looks like I'm missing one. Or no. These three were found. Their bodies were found frozen in positions that looked like they were trying to climb back up, or that they were just trying to hold their position in extreme weather, and they all died of hypothermia. Igor Dyatlov, Rustem Slobodin, Zainida Kolmogorova. That's as good as I can do that. Yeah. Now down here, this is where a little secondary fire was made, and a small little they tried to throw together some sort of shelter. So whatever their decisions before, why they came down the mountain, they were acting somewhat rationally here. They were trying to build shelters, because there's a lot about this case where they were like, oh, they went crazy and this happened, and then this one killed this one and that one, and that doesn't seem like it was it at all. There's a lot of explanations. Some people, Yetis, aliens, like whatever you want, throw it out there, and it was wild, right? Nobody could figure out what happened. Anyway, so looked like there was a little fire here and some shelters, and then four more were found here in a ravine, and all these three of the four had extreme blunt force trauma to their chests and heads. Multiple bilateral broken ribs, a broken skull. Two of them were considered fatal, and the other two, they think, basically messed them up so bad that they died. Again, hypothermia, but the official cause of death they listed as that blunt force trauma for all of them.
Yeah.
Why don't you jump in, Rebe?
What
was your first impression when you first started looking at it?
I mean, I guess my thing was, why were they all separated? Well, why were 5 of them here and the other 4, it's in a totally different spot?
Spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was,
and that's the major part of the case where go ahead.
No,
this is
but
a
there
delay,
was
sorry.
one woman, right, who had chest trauma, and she was also missing her tongue and her eyes. Right.
Yes. Yeah, that definitely happened. I did read though that at first that seemed they weren't sure what happened, but I guess the medical examiner was like, she was found face down in water, which I guess would do that.
And soft tissue goes before anything else. It's easier to deteriorate it
quickly,
faster.
Yeah. So that was more or less explained, that part. What
But still,
wasn't quite explained is why they left so much stuff here. All the stuff they needed to survive was still here,
exactly. Food,
and a lot
clothes.
of them were wearing like cut up clothing.
Hmm.
Yeah, clothes. A lot of them were wearing cut up like sort of impromptu clothing. Like one of them was wearing the long or a piece of pants that they ripped off and then wrapped around his bare leg up from somebody else. Like
Hmm.
it was somebody else's pants, not necessarily that they were wearing them at the time, but they were all kind of dressed odd. Like one was found with a wool sock on one foot and a cotton sock on the other.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if any of them actually had shoes. Did any of them have boots?
I
They had felt
honestly, I
boots.
don't know.
Some of them. But yeah, some of them were found like basically barefoot. Not no outer footwear in this sort of area, which will kill you very quickly
Yeah.
if you don't get your feet dry and warmed up. You're gonna die quick. Um, so I don't want to get right to it right away, but like, oh, the other weird thing was there was beta radiation found on some of their clothing,
Yeah.
which was and it was elevated.
Hmm.
Um, I did read that it wasn't like it was like they like as much as a worker might have in like a nuclear facility or something like, but
Yeah.
it was elevated. It was more than should have been. Yeah, and like a couple of them did have had prior exposure in a couple places
Yeah. They
because
worked for
Chernobyl was not the
certain.
first time they.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just saying they don't have a great history with nuclear things, but yeah. So they went down the mountain. They cut their tent open and went down the mountain. A lot of people too were talking about maybe some of them had ingested hallucinogens, which at first you're like, oh yeah, hikers and whatever in the woods and they take. I don't think that was the case because they were experienced outdoors people, hikers. They took it very seriously. It was not like they're on like they're going to Woodstock or whatever. Like it doesn't seem like something that would happen. Now it is possible that maybe they took something they didn't realize. Um, that's possible.
Real quick.
There, it's yeah.
Julia said when they cut themselves out of the tent, where was their exit? The front, the back, or the side?
That's a great question. It's an outstanding question. It was the tent opening was facing down the mountain as you would do
Yeah.
in that situation, and it was cut open at the front, so facing down the mountain was where it was cut open. Um, and I mean, you're honing in on what I think happened anyway. Um, and I didn't want to do it this quickly. I guess we could move to the other one. What else do you want to talk about before we talk about what I think happened? Maybe.
Um, I also read something where there were some witnesses who supposedly said that there were like strange lights in the sky around the time that all of this happened. So we can have our alien theory.
There, yeah, again, aliens, right? Um, there were, but everything I found said that the sightings, real or not, were about 2 weeks after they
Mm,
think they died.
okay.
Um, so it didn't quite line up as far as that goes. Now, obviously, if you cut your way out of a tent, you're scared of something, right? And the only reason, I guess we'll just kind of move towards it. The only reason I can see that you'd cut your way out of the tent and not just open it is if you can't, right?
Hmm.
And that to me screams snowslide or an avalanche, right? Like maybe the tent became partially buried. And this isn't, I I sort of came to this conclusion on my own, but at the same time, I am not the first person to conjecture this. I just want to make that
Mhm.
clear. Um, if there was a snowslide and it partially buried the tent, that it kind of explains they would have had to cut it and dig their way out, right? Um, so, assuming that's what happened, snowslide happened, trapped them in the tent. Oh shit! They're panicking. They cut the tent. They know they have to get off that side of the mountain because snowslides don't. They just it's unstable now, right? It was unstable to begin with. They cut into the side of the snow embankment, and that alone could cause that. Um, so they knew that they're like, we got to get off the mountain face, and I think that's what they did. They went down probably pretty hastily, and that explains too why they wouldn't have been able to get all their gear out if it was
Yeah,
half
but
buried or if the tent was literally. Go ahead.
why were they all? Why were they? One group was here, and the other group was, somewhere completely different.
I have a theory about that.
Okay.
I have a theory about that.
Of course.
Um, so so this that's like if I'm just trying to picture it, I tried to picture it a couple different ways. But if you got this tent that's cut into the side of the embankment, look, it wouldn't even have to be a very big snow slide. It could just collapse and literally very quickly bury portions of the tent, and people could have been um, hurt there, which they don't actually think. They don't think anybody was hurt at that point, not seriously, but it's possible they still were.
Mhm.
Um, and now they can't get out. They got to cut it to get out. They got to dig their way out. Um, the tent was found partially buried,
Mhm.
partially. Um, but they were, I mean, the people who found it were able to pick through it fairly easily at the same time. But all that snow, it moves around, right? Like wind and everything else, it melts, it moves. So, a few days later, it could look totally different. Um, so I think they went down and they tried to make a fire here first um, to warm up. They made a crude shelter. And I think these three, and I wasn't sure about these two, but Igor was probably one of the more experienced people on the trip. They
Yeah.
all were experienced, but he probably had the most. They, I think they went back up because they realized they were going to die without the rest of that gear, or they thought that it was the danger was less somehow, and that if they could get back up, they could get the gear, come back down, everybody be warm or warmer anyway, not die. Really, it's more accurate. Um, and then two people stayed here, which makes sense. You'd want two people to tend the fire. And now these four become the real mystery as far as this theory goes, because they were all like, why were they down here? They this is let's check the elevation here, right? So down. Why? Now my theory here was maybe they thought they were gonna hike out, um, and then there was another sort of makeshift shelter found here, like a half of one. It was really just that they laid down some pine boughs and
Mhm.
kind of dug into the side a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't much, but it was obviously an attempt at one. Um, Now the only problem with that theory is they would have known that there's no getting out that quickly. Like, look at it.
Yeah.
Like, it's seriously rough terrain. It's cold. It's snowy. There's nothing there. Like even now, there's nothing there. Like what I didn't find any buildings in any of this area. These mountains are rugged as hell. Even down here where they started, there isn't much. The closest real town I found was here, this Ushuma, and it's come on, there we go. Any second now. There's basically also nothing there.
Okay.
think these are structures. I'm not sure. This looks like there might be some structures, some ramshackle stuff going on. Um, but, and this is now. So, I mean,
Imagine
back
then.
then there was even less,
Yeah,
which is crazy. Uh, Go ahead. What?
nothing. I was agreeing.
Okay. Yeah, no, it bounced out the sound. So, why did they go here, right? And why did they die by serious blunt force trauma? My theory with that is they made some decision to go further down, thinking, I don't know, that they were going to get out, or maybe they panicked because they were freezing to death. Who knows? People do weird things when you start to die.
I mean, yeah,
Paradoxical undressing is one of them. Yeah, that sometimes people when they're dying of hypothermia or getting close, they'll just take their clothes off and for no reason, and they die faster. I don't know if that maybe seems odd,
give them a
right?
little.
But it does happen. This is a term for it. It's called paradoxical undressing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of them were found partially dressed, or they should have had more clothes.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I don't know why they went down here, but I think what happened is they went down and they either slid down an embankment into the ravine and died from a fall because a lot of them were found buried under a lot of snow,
that's what
or
I.
there was another snow slide in the ravine, and that's how, yeah, and that's where all the blunt force, because like the medical examiner came to the conclusion that it was what do they call it? He said an overwhelming force caused them to cause those injuries. And now, when you say like overwhelming in English, that sounds like a yeti, right? Like overwhelming force. But I mean, yeah, no, that perfectly describes the force of an avalanche or a snow slide. Um, anyway, so yeah, I think that's what happened. This one to me, like, it's. I was a little disappointed because I was like, and it ended up just being an avalanche, and
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess that's still horrifying if you think about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
still really horrifying. The tent collapses here. They cut their way out, dig their way down, go all the way down here. Three decide to come back up, die of hypothermia along the way. Although I didn't notice this before, it's a little bit different, but I mean they're spaced fairly evenly apart. I didn't notice that before. Um, I guess which would sort of make sense. And these four died in the ravine with blunt force trauma. It is horrifying because you get away from the first thing and you get down here and you think you might survive and you build this little fire and this little shitty structure, and three of them go back up to get deer. They each one of them dies of hypothermia, and these four die in a ravine. I think there was two here, and I think they also it was ruled hypothermia. Um, and some of their bodies were in odd positions, but that makes sense because if they froze, they'd be weird positions. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I The more I got into it, the more I was interested in it, but at the same time, to me, it seems clear that that's what it was. I think part of the issue I think happened, like why there were so many theories right away, like aliens, Yeti,
Mm-hmm.
communist government, experimental things, hallucinogenics, like all these things very quickly materialized. And I think I was looking at the actual case files written by the investigators, translated obviously, but it's kind of just the way they described things. Um, and they were also off on the location by quite a bit when they described the location. Just didn't seem like the most professional of jobs done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much they personally knew about this sort of wilderness survival out here, but if they didn't know much, then all of these things together started to look really strange. But then if you think about it, it ends up being an avalanche. The funny thing is, it took a really long time for that theory to come out, um, but it seems like the most
Logical.
plausible theory to me. Right. Let me. What do I got to do? I don't want to leave. That's not what I want to do. Oh, stop sharing. Sorry. Cloud it today. Um, so that was that. Anyway, look at all these people. A couple of greetings. Planes wanted to get out past me too. Yeah, big trees and boulders would do it. Yeah, big trees, boulders. If there was a big snow slide, they can absolutely take out trees and push rocks down the hill as well. Um, kind of looks something like that. So anyway, let's move on to the lead masks case. Um, this is a lot weirder. There's
It
no
is
getting
weird
around how weird this one is.
because there's nothing. That's why it's weird.
No, yeah, I want you. Why don't you leave this one in?
I don't want to. I can't
Oh, come
pronounce
on.
anything.
Oh, well, I don't want to go to my map immediately. I just got back. No, so all right.
I can't pronounce
I
their
don't
name.
remember their names.
Um,
I don't remember their names. Miguel and Manuel, right?
yeah, something like that.
Yes. Yeah. You want to do it?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So this happened in Brazil, in a couple of smaller towns near Sao Paulo,
1966.
1966. Two, I don't want to call them. No, they weren't. They were two electronics. They had an electronics repair shop.
Yeah, electronic technicians.
Technicians, yeah. They weren't engineers, but they were technicians, and they were really into it.
Yeah.
Right? Clearly, they were all about this stuff. Um, they did weird things. Okay, they were involved. They did these experiments that involved explosions in several different scenarios up and down the sort of the coast near where they were, and they were those were very strange just on their own. Like, there was one on Atafona Beach, and there was a massive explosion that like shook houses, and like everybody heard it, and nobody knows what these guys were actually doing when this happened. Like, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out either. Like, what exactly? Because I mean, electrical guys aren't, usually. You can, of course, make things explode, but it's not. It's not the goal.
I mean, yeah.
Um, so yeah, they a couple of really interesting guys, very into the electronics, owned a repair shop, and I think at least one of them was married. It might have been both of them married, but it doesn't matter really. I mean, it kind of does.
It doesn't matter.
But well, um, I guess it doesn't matter if one or both are married. Um, so they had these experiments. It gets weirder and weirder. Like,
They're weird.
yeah, they were connected to this other guy, and I'm trying to remember his name. Iloshi. Oh, damn. Iloshi. To me, it looked like, yeah, the Portuguese version of Eliza. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if this guy Itoshi. I can't. I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
anyway, this guy was, yeah. If these other two guys are weird, this guy was super weird. And he apparently seemed to have some kind of, I don't want to say control, but he seemed to be manipulative of at least one of them. Like, because he borrowed money from one. This is great. You guys are going to love this. He borrowed money from, I think it was Manuel, and he never paid him back.
Mm-hmm.
And his excuse was for not paying him back was that a river mermaid took his money. That's a quote.
Word.
A river, yeah, a river mermaid. I mean, Right, buddy. Okay.
Yeah,
And apparently, Manuel seemed to have bought it, which,
that would explain a lot, though.
yes.
I'm just saying.
Well, there definitely seemed to be eccentric belief systems going on.
Mm-hmm.
And seemed to me like they were colliding with each other in a lot of ways. Because it was this guy here. I'm trying to remember the name of this like weird kind of. It's like an offshoot of whatever. It's Christian based, but it's very. I don't want to say culty, but it's like spiritists. They were called, I think. It did weird things. They believed in weird things. They believed in aliens and all this other stuff, and like which is fine. It's a great subject, but very strange. Apparently, they believed in river mermaids.
River mermaids.
Yeah,
What's a river mermaid?
I don't know. The first thing I thought of was a freshwater dolphin, but river mermaid, like an arapaima. I don't know. How's that different from an ocean mermaid?
I mean,
Just
it's exactly what you think it is.
less
It's
salt. Yeah, it's a river mermaid, I guess. Took his money.
yeah,
Apparently, they like money.
what you would think
Uh,
it was. A river.
I got mugged by a river mermaid. I couldn't get over that.
What's a mermaid
I
gonna
was
do?
like, oh boy. That's what I'm saying. What did you need money for? What kind of excuse is that? Like, oh, the river mermaid took my money again. Like, sorry, I can't pay back. Um,
That's like,
she's got a gambling problem, so like, I couldn't get over that. That was one of the wildest parts about it. Um, river mermaid took my money.
mm-hmm.
I'll remember that for the rest
Use
of my
that
life.
use one day.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't pay my rent. River mermaid took my money.
Yeah. Oh, if you want your money, you're gonna have to go down to River Mermaid and get it. She's got it. So she got me again. I don't know what to tell you. So after the River Mermaid took this guy's money, no. So that was his excuse, right? I'm gonna say it again. The River Mermaid took my money, and Manuel bought it. So there definitely seemed to be some manipulative things going on with this guy and these two. Now, was he involved in what eventually happened, which we haven't even touched on yet? Because it's so strange. The whole thing is so strange. They don't know. He was definitely interviewed and he was arrested at one point. I think it was actually for something else, but
Of course.
yeah, it was definitely a shady guy. So anyway, one day, it was not long after they conducted these experiments on the beaches where they're blowing shit up. Apparently, I don't know why. They, what did it say? I think it was a Sunday, and like one of them woke up really early to tell his wife, "Oh, Miguel and I are going to Sao Paulo to get a car. We're buying a car. It will help our business, right? We'll be able to serve our customers better with a car." Which makes sense. You go pick up a TV, whatever. If that's what you're doing back in the day, fixing TVs. In home repair. Excuse me. So they say we're going to Sao Paulo to buy a car, and they get bus tickets, but they don't go to Sao Paulo. Let's share the screen.
Trying to pronounce nothing.
Here we go. Share the screen. Okay, so here we go. This is their home city here, which Campos dos Goitas. Yeah, I can't do it.
Exactly.
It's this place. This is where the Adafona Beach fireball experiment happened. A lot of people saw a giant fireball, and there was a huge explosion. Something definitely happened. This was not lights in the sky. This was like something massive exploded, and they're
They're
pretty sure those two were involved. And there was a map where that showed like 3 or 4 other locations going up this way. And yeah, they were doing weird shit on the beach. Um, I, I I don't know. I can't explain that either because if if electronics guys are making stuff explode, it's going to leave behind a lot of crap because you're not, even if that's what you're trying to do. I mean, to generate that kind of power, electrical, unless you're using actually explosives. But they did say that there were gouges in the earth that smelled like sulfur, so it's possible. I just don't. I couldn't quite connect this to what happened later either. The only through line there was these guys were doing weird shit.
yeah,
They're doing weird experiments. They
doing weird.
had very strange belief systems. Um, yeah, and like there was a lot of it was colliding, like the spiritist stuff, and one of the guys, one of the electrician or electrical technicians, talked about how the other planets have life, like in our solar system, those planets have life, and how there's actually a much easier way for someone to visit another planet, which
That
is
actually makes a
interesting
lot of sense.
considering what happened later.
Yeah.
So, right?
Hmm.
Um, so later they get those bus tickets after they tell their wives that we need to go buy a car in Sao Paulo, which is here, but they don't go to Sao Paulo. They go to somewhere on the way, and it's a town called Niterói. Oh, we're just terrible.
That's why I'm
So
letting
anyway,
you do it. I ain't doing it.
one of the first. Yep. Uh, I didn't even hear what you said. The audio was bad. What did you say?
I said that's why I'm letting you pronounce the names.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, so anyway, one of the first places they went, or the first place that I can tell, is this electronic shop, and I thought this was pretty cool because um, because here I could do street view. The other one, obviously, there weren't any streets in the Ural Mountains. So, but if you zoom in here,
Okay.
and you go here, there is still an electronic shop there, even now. It doesn't look like it's open, but there's a sign for domestic electronics, right? Um, so I thought that was interesting. That's probably actually where they went. And they met with this guy who they asked him to buy some Philips components. That's all it said was Philips components, but they were like odd and specialized because the guy was surprised that they asked because he thought that they should know that he wouldn't have these parts in stock. He was like, it's weird that they asked because these guys would know that an electronic shop doesn't carry this kind of thing. It's like special order, right? Didn't say what they were, just Philips components. Um, so anyway, they left there and they seemed to be fairly normal at that point, mood wise or whatever. Then they went to Casa Brasilia, which was a shop. There wasn't anything really there, but we can zoom in anyway. Oops. Come on now. Do. So they went somewhere here and they bought 2 raincoats. And the lady who sold them the raincoats thought that they seemed nervous, which is weird because they were just at the electronic shop and they were fine, right? They bought 2 raincoats. It was raining, but they didn't put them on when they left. They walked out with the raincoats in a bag, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just weird, right? It
Sure.
gets much weirder. They then go to a bar and they ordered some water. They got mineral water. There was a bar here apparently somewhere. Not anymore, it looks like, but yeah, probably maybe in here somewhere. Um, and they got some water, some mineral water, and they went for a hike.
Mm.
They went to this area here. Now I just want to. Now, compared to the Ural Mountains, this is fairly well populated, right? But
Mhm.
this area here is still it's dense and it is kind of remote and hard to access. Very steep hills and right here, and but there's some buildings on the way up and everything. But they were found. It was a couple days later, I think, or day later. One of these clearings, I think, or as far over as here, somewhere in here. It was either this clearing or this one here. They were found dead. Um, both wearing identical suits, both wearing the raincoats. They were both laid on a mat of Pandora leaves, which were apparently very hard to. You have to cut them, right? You don't just find them laying down. Like they were like someone cut these and put them down, and then they laid down on them, or someone else, whatever. But didn't just they didn't just find them there. Um, so yeah, somewhere in this area. Actually, it might have been. Now that I'm looking at the photo, because actually I didn't see this before, but this is a repeater station. Now it's a radio tower and a radio station, right? Which is, of course, the electronics guys. They're into that stuff. It makes sense that they'd be up here for whatever weird ass experiment they were going to do. But anyway, they were found in the raincoats, identical suits. Um, and one of the strangest things is they were both wearing lead masks.
Yeah, they were.
There was pounded lead that they made out of a yeah, pounded lead they made out of a lead bar, and it just put over their eyes. Lead masks, right? Conceivably, I mean, I would think to what, to protect the eyes from something. That's what you would think, right? Um, now the only I don't know it that part's really now it's not the also not the only time people have been found dead with lead masks either. It's happened before. It's someone in this area said it happened here before, and someone was found with a dead with a lead mask. Like it's a thing, I guess, and it's but it's almost certainly they had these things to protect their eyes from something or something they thought they were protecting their eyes from. Um, which makes sense. Again, flash, explosion, radiation, whatever they think is going to happen, whatever it is they're doing. And they also were found. They had several notes on them. One of them was scribbled Ohm's law. Another one said, "What was it? Do you remember, Rebe? The take capsules,
Yeah, it's
ingest capsules, protect metals."
yeah, it's 1630. Be at specific place. 1830. Ingest capsules. After effect. Protect metals. Await signal. No need to worry. Is what it said.
Can you read it again?
Yes, I'll read it again.
I'm just one. I want everyone to hear it again. I want everyone to hear it again.
1630. Be at specific place. 1830. Ingest capsules. After effect. Protect metals. Await signal. No need to worry.
I mean, not for nothing. That sounds like something I would write in one of my
It does.
transmissions.
It does.
But and the more I looked into this one, the more I was like, I can see myself dying somehow.
But see, that's the thing. That's
I mean,
it.
I don't do weird ass experiments like that.
That's all that was found.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, what happened?
There's a lag somewhere, but
Yeah, they had no visible injuries. Um, no, they found a few other things. They found some paper, and this is what it said: paper impregnated with substance.
yeah.
And then there ended up being yeah, there was no report on what that substance might have been. Now, my first thought was acid, right?
Hmm.
That's what I would think of, right? Paper impregnated with the substance, but it really could have been anything. It could have
Yeah,
been paper
it was
soaked in oil. It really could have been anything.
an empty water bottle, towels, a notebook, money, and then the instructions.
A fair amount of money too.
Hmm.
Um, More than you'd need for a crazy mountain radio experiment. I mean,
Yeah.
it almost seemed like, I mean, they were traveling, so I guess, yeah, they wouldn't have been leaving anything anywhere anyway. But it did seem strange. Maybe they were going to buy the car after. I don't
Maybe.
know. Like whatever this was. Now a lot of people think it had something to do with aliens. Like they were
Mhm.
trying to communicate with aliens, which is a fair guess because these one of them at least believed aliens were definitely real.
And
Believed he could visit another
river
planet
mermaids.
somehow. Um, well, that was actually the other weird guy that
Yeah,
came
I
up
know.
with that. But he apparently believed that if he bought the excuse, then he believed something about it.
Exactly.
Or maybe it was one of those scenarios where he's like, "Well, if a belief in a river mermaid is what I need to keep this guy away," like, because once somebody owes you money and you tell them a river mermaid stole it, you're not coming around much after that. I feel like. But anyway, um, so yeah, I think there was a couple other smaller things. It was like a note or whatever, and one of them had his wedding ring tied to his glasses in his pocket,
Hmm,
and some people speculated that that was the protect metals part, which
possibly.
again is just weird. Like, right? Like, now if it was like it's something with radiation, protect metals makes sense because you don't want the metal to become irradiated, but sticking it in your pocket is not gonna do that. Sticking that, I don't know what they were protecting it from, but anyway, protect metals.
Um, Julia asked if there was an
It's just weird.
autopsy.
Now the other thing I read was that, go ahead.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was, and
Yeah.
again, not the most stellar of jobs was done. Apparently, their organs sat in jars for too long, and they weren't able to.
Yeah, they couldn't do a
They deteriorated too much, and
toxicology. So,
yeah, toxicology report. They couldn't
yeah.
do one.
So we don't know what they
Now we know
ingested.
they were taking something. He had we don't, and but they were taking something. They had instructions that said ingest capsules. Now somebody had mentioned that like the words or the phrase ingest capsules is not a way that one of them would have talked or both of them would have talked, and they think that those instructions were given to them, which is possible,
By the one guy who
or
believed in river
dictated to
mermaids.
them rather. Yes, that was the actual. Yeah, that was the speculation around that. Again, I don't know where that leads. Uh, there wasn't much about his interview. It seemed like they interviewed the guy, and then that was it.
Hmm.
They didn't really. I think they more or less cleared him from any involvement with their actual deaths because he had probably had an alibi or whatever, and then they just like we don't need to investigate that anymore any further because this guy's weird as shit. Like almost like the cops are like, can we just get rid of this guy? I don't want to be around this
Yeah. And again, it was
guy anymore.
1966.
I think he stole $20. But anyway, yeah,
So,
river mermaids. And so yeah, so they were found dead, laying on these weird palm fronds with lead masks on, identical raincoats, identical suits, some weird ass instructions that didn't make a lot of sense. Um, and now there are a couple of weird structures I found in this area. Like I think this is one of them. Oops, I had a hard time telling what it was or when it was built. Obviously, it looks pretty old, but that's modern brickwork. It's not, you know, like it's ruins or anything. I couldn't tell what this was. I mean, this just might be. It might have been a domed structure with a balcony and a little thing down here, a little kitchen down here or something. I don't. Or it's some kind of an observatory wouldn't make any sense because it's at the bottom of the hill, so that's not how you do that.
Hmm.
Um, but it's weird, right? And there were a couple of places like that in this area. It's like a there, and I don't know. It's this weird structure, and there was another theory that like they had met someone and they felt threatened, or um, I don't know. A couple of people reported that they had been nervous, and there was like a theory of five men who were interviewed who were later seen going up the hill at some point, but I guess they were cleared as well too because like the timing didn't work out or something. I think it was
Yeah.
after or too long before or something like that. And yeah, they just couldn't figure this one out at all. The
Mm-mm.
only thing I could chalk it up to is just a strange belief system, and they thought they were doing something amazing, and they died doing it.
I
Which
think they just
they
really
died
like.
doing what
I
they
think they like
love.
doing drugs.
They like the drugs.
I think they like doing drugs.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was the '60s.
Hmm.
They had mystery capsules. That was I thought that too. I thought that maybe they were doing some kind of combined experimentation. Now,
Yeah.
we've talked about this before on other episodes, but like the idea of taking some sort of hallucinogenic or any kind of mind altering substance, and then also doing some kind of like weird electrical thing where you've got reactions going on or this, that, and the other. Like conceivably, you could think that they thought they were uh, I don't know, piloting a vessel like a UFO or flying to another planet or being able to see. I don't know. Like I think they were up to something weird, or they thought they were up to something weird, and they just died doing it. And to me, yeah, I think they took some drugs and ended up killing him. Now, the weird part about the capsules, though, is they they didn't find any on them, but but the instructions they had like started earlier. I'm trying to remember the exact details, but basically, they think they were taking these things for a couple of days. So
Possibility.
it's not like they just walked up the hill and took some shit for the first time and died. Yeah, it seemed like they were taking it for a few days before. Now, of course, there's several substances that will kill you slowly over a course of days if you keep taking it. It's not that could have still happened. Um, but it does seem strange to me that like they usually if that was the kind of experiment if you're doing a crazy experiment like this, you take some kind of drug that would kick in right away or like have the effect that you would. It wouldn't be something over the course of days, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That part sounded weird to me.
Yeah.
um, but at the same time too, to su- to support the drug thing, sometime between here and here, or no, I'm sorry, the was it the bar? No, it was the sometime between the electrical shop and the raincoat place. Their mood changed because it was reported from several witnesses that they were nervous here, but this guy said they were fine. So if they were taking some kind of LSD or something, I mean, they start getting paranoid and this stuff starts looking real weird. Like that, that can happen for sure. But they still go here and they get at their water. They still seem like they kept up with their plan.
Uh,
I don't.
real quick.
Maybe they just went up here, cut those palm fronds, laid down, and thought they were going to look into another, like see another planet, or the aliens are going to come get them, or something. I don't know. Something like that, I think, is what they thought they were doing.
Um,
Um,
Julia said,
what's that?
elect- Julia said electronics are used in special effects, so that may explain the explosion. The raincoats, weird. They they must have died from the capsules, but you said they weren't worried in the first store, but they got nervous at the second. So bad drugs.
Right. Yeah, that seemed to be like a solid thing. Like, 'cause
Yeah,
several witnesses said they seemed very nervous when they were buying their raincoats. Um,
I agree.
yeah, I mean, electronics, electromagnetic, superconductors, whatever that hover, like, it was Tesla who thought that we could defeat gravity with electromagnetic fields. I mean, he was right essentially.
Mm.
So they they might have, yeah, definitely, but they didn't find any kind of like gear like that with them. There wasn't anything like they had a bunch of stuff hooked up or anything. Now, when I first read it, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like they were in like a bunker and there was a bunch of radio equipment. But then I looked into it. No, they were found outside, laying down in these palm fronds, wearing these lead masks. There wasn't any kind of real. They didn't have any equipment with them. Um, so I don't really know what the deal was with that. River mermaids, I guess.
I guess some aliens.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, so that's all I got really for those. Just very strange cases. I don't know what happened.
Mm.
These guys, I mean, they were definitely doing weird shit. I found one map. Of course, you guys can't see my map now, but up and down that coast from where they were, there was like 8 different locations where they were just fucking blowing shit up.
Yeah,
Like boom, boom, like explosions and this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know. Very strange. Strange couple of guys. In deep with the river mermaids, I guess.
I can remember mermaids.
I just, so yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. I mean, with most things, I feel like it starts out like with all these crazy explanations that well, I mean, how did we not talk about this? So they also there was multiple sightings of the same night of lights in the sky, something shooting blue rays out, like more than one person reported seeing some crazy stuff happening on the top of a hill or whatever. But um, so that was definitely strange too. Maybe they
um,
did. Maybe they called in some aliens and they died from cyanide poisoning.
so to answer Julia's question, they were 34 and 32.
Yeah, that's a good question. So conceivably
Drugs.
in the prime of their lives,
They were
drugs.
doing drugs.
Yeah, I mean they were taking something. We know they were taking something, and then they botched the autopsies, so they never got
Yeah.
a chance to go talk screen on anything, which tells us there's a huge missing piece there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the lead masks. I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, blowing shit up. But that particular night, the night they died, they weren't blowing anything up. That's the weird. Or maybe it had they didn't have any weird gear to do that.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe they were just blowing shit up for fun. Like, tell me you
Okay.
wouldn't blow some shit up just for fun.
I absolutely have blown shit up
Exactly.
just for fun. So, um, yeah, but these guys, it didn't seem. I mean, I just wanted to see stuff go boom.
Yeah.
I think I think these guys were doing more than that, or they thought they were doing more than that. I don't know. very strange beliefs.
Very
Uh,
river mermaids.
river mermaids and aliens. Like he was. I say very strange beliefs, and I write about aliens all the time, and I'm totally open to the possibility of whatever. But like at the same time, like this guy had very specific.
Yeah.
He described a ship. I know twin physicists that blew up a phone booth, but they were 19. Yeah, so yeah, no, that sounds. I mean, the guys that invented uh, rocket science or whatever, basically, they I forget what school they went to. I think it was Southern California, UCLA, I think. Uh, they blew up their dorm room trying to make rocket fuel, and instead of charging them with things, they sent them out in the middle of the desert and put them in a barn and said, "Here,
Shit.
get to it." And then they invented rocket fuel. So, you know, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely weird. Definitely weird. That's all I got.
Like,
So yeah, everybody, that's it. That's all I got for that. Do we have a mixed signals segment?
okay, I do have a question, but it's not necessarily like what we usually do. Um, Matt, the horror poet, has been doing the would you rather's.
Oh, okay.
um, so here's mine. Would you would you rather have a fully functioning third eye on your knee or a second nose on your elbow?
I'll take the eye
I'd
for
take the eye.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
more useful, I think. Um,
Yeah.
and uh,
I'm weird. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
uh, no, I think I'd take the eye.
I take
I
the
mean,
eye.
it'd suck when you bump your
Julia,
knee, you get a
eye.
black eye.
That,
But
I didn't think about that.
yeah, but I mean, if you bump your elbow, you get a bloody nose. So it really doesn't. You know,
Exactly.
I think at some point you're losing that eye.
The book,
That's
when you fall and bust your knee, it explodes.
yeah, exactly. Like that might be a problem structurally speaking. Um, do we have any food related questions?
Um. Hmm. No, I don't know.
Does the audience have any questions? You all have any questions you want us to field?
I mean, we all know that me and Joel hate ketchup, so
Yeah, ketchup's awful. Satan's fun.
Saints.
It's disgusting. I don't know why it's everywhere. Um,
It is so gross.
it's really gross, especially since it's mostly corn syrup at this point. It's not even. It's barely
Yeah.
any tomatoes
So
in there.
I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people who get like the no sugar ad.
Yeah, okay, but that's
I'm not paying $10 for a bottle of ketchup. I'm sorry.
yeah. I no, that's gross. Ketchup is gross.
Mm.
Let's blow up some ketchup.
No, okay, so I seen a thing where apparently you can put baking soda inside ketchup and you shake
Yeah,
it and it will
yeah,
explode.
yeah. They're like the vinegar.
Yeah, I want to do that.
I gotta do that. I'm gonna sacrifice ketchup. Um, what if we? Good night. What if we? What if we like got a bunch of ketchup and then use an electrical coil to charge it, and then we could blow it up like that.
Joel, do you want to blow some shit up?
Absolutely.
We can blow some shit
Especially,
up.
I mean, like we call some aliens and some masks. I mean,
I'm not wearing a lead mask. I'm not.
yeah, it seems. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
It sounds
I
heavy.
mean, I feel like welding glasses would probably do the same thing. I don't know why they had to be lead masks. Very strange to me. I mean, that screams like they were concerned about radiation, right?
Hmm.
But just covering your eyes seems
Exactly.
minimal. But maybe they figured we only have this one lead pipe, so we can only make 2 masks. We'll protect our eyes, but like not anything else. Weird.
Okay.
What?
Um, have you watched the movie 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Oh yeah.
So I watched it last night, which it's not the first time that I've watched it, but I haven't watched it in a very long time.
Yeah, I like
I
it.
completely forgot. It's an alien movie.
Yeah. You think it's just crazy John Goodman movie, but it's not. He's right the whole time.
He's exactly right.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie again.
Oh, that's a good one.
Very excited.
You still haven't seen The Fourth Kind, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you got to see that. You got to see that.
What's it called? The Fourth Kind?
The Fourth Kind, yeah. It's like found footage, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
It's epistolary too, in that they like pretend it's a documentary, and then the movie's about the documentary, but that's not the whole thing's fake. But it's still a good movie.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. Oh, it's messed up. Like it's actually pretty creepy as far as alien movies go. I was pretty creeped out by it. Fucking owls.
Where can I watch it? Okay.
Yeah. Alien owl.
I will definitely watch that.
All right. All right. Why don't we wrap it up?
Okay.
All right. That was Signal Seeker, guys. Good night and good luck or something.
Good night and good luck. Don't let the aliens get you.
Don't forget your lead masks.
Yeah.
Oh, and the River Mermaid, don't forget to pay her either. She is a real stickler.
Give her all your money.
Right.